everyone. Nice to see you all here. It's Happy Christmas. This is our festive and gift book edition of Bev's Book Chat. And please don't worry, I'm not going to keep these glasses on all the time because I can't see a flipping thing. But I just thought they looked quite good to start the meeting off. So I have a huge amount of books to share with you this hour. Without further ado, let's get my presentation started because we've only got an hour. So here we go. And if in the meantime you want to be putting in the chat any books that you've read recently that you've really enjoyed, or any festive books that you particularly love, that would be absolutely wonderful as well. But I'm going to start off strong, as always, because I'm going to start off with what are probably my favourite things, which is the picture books. And I think you all know by now how much I do love a picture book. I have been sent a huge amount of gorgeous festive picture books. So I'll be able to talk to you about all of them. And I'm just going to move on to our first one. Here we go. Just letting people in at the same time, guys. So apologies if I pause at any time. So these two are very young picture books. The Osborne Slide and See Christmas and That's Not My Reindeer. Perfect for any of you that have got younger children that you're buying for this Christmas. That's Not My series, always popular. My granddaughter absolutely loved them when she was younger, and they're both beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I really enjoyed those two. Then we have, now this is one of my favourites actually, and it's called Twinkly Twinkly, and it's Santa's Sleigh Ride. I think you can probably gather by the lights that I've got behind me that I like a few lights. Not just at Christmas, but at any time. And this one has got sparkly lights on every single page. And it builds up to the end of the book where you've got a whole page where you've got twinkly lights going on. My granddaughter's actually coming over tomorrow, and I know she's going to adore it. I don't expect it to still be here when she goes home on Sunday. Let's put it that way. Then we have The Beaver Who Saved Christmas. This has got a really strong conservation theme, but it's a lovely story as well. It's about this young beaver who lives in a village where after Christmas, the whole village is filled with the rubbish that people have taken off of their presents, so wrappings and paper boxes, etc. And it's got, as I say, a very strong theme of conservation, and there is also a really nice little craft thing at the end of it where you can make your own pine cone beaver decoration, which I haven't yet done, as it happens. Captain Christmas, well, it's Carl Newson. What can I say? I love Carl Newson's books. I find them really, really funny. This has got an amazing double page cross section of the pirate ship illustration, which is just fabulous. I really loved it. It's very amusing in that the pirates end up delivering presents, and I definitely wouldn't want to touch the smelly socks that they're left hanging up to be filled. So lots of laugh out loud moments for children. I think you all know already that I am a confirmed Potterhead, and this is the first ever Harry Potter picture book. And I've just noted a spelling mistake. I've just spelt gorgeously wrong. I do apologise. Okay, so it is the most beautiful large size picture book. It's a fairly long picture book, I'd say, but ideal for reading aloud and great for introducing the Potterverse to young children. This We're Going on a Sleigh Ride is beautiful. If I had to pick my top 5 festive books this year, I think We're Going on a Sleigh Ride will be one of them. It's absolutely stunning, the front cover. The front cover's got lots of silver on it, and it just makes you want to pick it up and read it. There are 10 presents to find behind flaps through the book. It's rhyming as well. It's just absolutely gorgeous. I really, really did enjoy this one. Patrick and Flipper is I liked it because I found the slight hint of sarcasm in it quite funny. It's got a very good moral. Patrick and Flipper are best friends, but unfortunately, poor Patrick, who is our polar bear, although his tummy, he makes sure that, although Flipper makes sure that Patrick, who is the polar bear's tummy, is always full of fish, he does feel very, very empty because he's not the one that's making any of the rules. And it's always Flipper. Flipper, the small seal, is the one that's making all the rules. And he is one bossy seal, believe me. So, nice moral to it, and a good fun story. Clive Penguin is just hilarious, and I know my daughter-in-law is going to love this. My daughter-in-law always says that she likes the books that I give her that are ones that she can laugh at as well, and she will love this because it is very funny. It's about a very grumpy penguin called Clive, of course, who doesn't like being cold, doesn't like being chilly at all, and in fact goes off on a discovery, goes off on a mission to try and find something to warm him up. And he does find the very fetching bobble hat you can see on his head in this picture. Does this make him happy? Does it heck? Unfortunately, he's still a very grumpy penguin at the end of the book, but it is so funny. And it's one that I think we're going to enjoy reading with my granddaughter. I Follow the Fox is beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful illustrations. It's about a small child who has lost their favourite toy. And I think all of us that are parents will recognise that feeling of panic when the child's favourite toy goes missing. What happens is the little boy who's lost his toy fox, he goes to bed one night and then a beautiful fox calls at the window and he decides to follow her. And they go off on a wonderful journey through a snow-covered city, past the rivers, past the snowy meadows, and to something special that needs his help. And she's taking him actually to her cubs and he needs help. It's just so lovely, and one that I think would be treasured. Yours Befana is a slightly different one because Befana is a remarkable character. She's from Italian folklore and she is a festive, if you like, a winter witch. And apparently on the 6th of January in Italy, she flies on a broom through the icy winter sky to visit children and she brings them presents. This is very well produced, absolutely lovely, and apparently for in Italy she does also bring, for all ages, she brings the gift of the promise of spring and nature's rebirth. It's beautiful, absolutely lovely, and I loved the fact that it was an alternative to the typical Christmas fare. One Snowy Christmas Eve is again quite a funny one. It's Corky Paul. Corky Paul's illustrations are always very funny. There is lots. It's very poetic. It's about mishaps that happen to Father Christmas, and it's very funny. Mia's Brave Move. Okay, it's not a Christmas story as such, but it is set in the winter. And it's all about a young girl who has to move from a city down to the countryside, and she's feeling very much left out and she doesn't feel she'll ever fit in. And then she starts to realise that being different doesn't always mean that it's bad, and that she may also find new friends in this new environment. It's also a lovely story about the relationship between Mia and her grandma, and it really touched my heart. I thought it was gorgeous. what can I say? Santa needs a new bum. It's another one in this series. There are lots of these in this series. It's by a New Zealand author, actually. It's not as silly as it sounds. Well, no, it is as silly as it sounds, but it's also got a really good moral to it as well about helping and caring for people and working together. I actually sent this to a teacher contact of mine because she was so excited about it, and she read it to her class. She's a reception teacher. She read it to her class, and she said one of the little 4-year-olds was laughing so much they were crying. So you can't really get a better reference than that. Again, on the laugh out loud stakes, has Santa been? Again, this is not going to be in my house by Monday. My granddaughter is just going to adore this. She loves anything to do with bodily functions at the moment. And this is all about poor Santa, who, when he stops at different houses, he's given lots and lots of different drinks. He has his milk, he's got his orange juice, and he has some sherry. But the problem is, Santa, to keep the myth and the legend alive, can't really just nip into anyone's loo and have a wee. So he spends a lot of time with his legs crossed because children keep waking up and saying, has Santa been? And no, he hasn't been, the poor man. The story does end with a patch of rather suspicious yellow snow. I'll say no more, but I'm sure you can guess what's happened in that snow. I think this is going to be one of the most favourite ones that I give to my granddaughter this year. The Snow Thief is, again, not necessarily Christmas, but definitely winter. It's about Squirrel and Bird. It's not the first one in this series. I think it's the third in this series. And it's all about the snow and what Squirrel perceives the snow to be and how he's going to get used to it and whether it's going to hurt him indeed. The Muckraker is a take on the traditional, the Nutcracker, naturally the Nutcracker, but it's about a Christmas show, and it's about the main character who is absolutely wishing and wishing that she's going to be a fairy in the show. This doesn't happen, sadly. I'm afraid she only gets to be a bonbon. But there's an absolutely fantastic quote from the dad which says, sometimes you get to be the sugar plum fairy, sometimes you just have to be a bonbon, which I thought was highly amusing. Really did love it, and it gave you all the joy of the nativity and all of that, worry about what they were going to be. I happen to know my granddaughter is in fact the fourth soldier, goodness only knows why, in the nativity play. So there you go. We get lots and lots of different roles, don't we? I was a bit disappointed that she wasn't, the Christmas lobster or the Christmas octopus, but there you go. Dragon with the Blazing Bottom. This series are very, very popular. Dragon with the Blazing Bottom. The whole premise of which is that this particular dragon does not belch fire. It comes out the other end. I've read the first two of these far too many times, and I dare say this one's going to be very much the same sort of thing. Very silly and very funny. Santa's First Christmas is so pretty, and it's also a really good one for starting to talk about themes of mental health with young children, because poor Santa, although he is fine at giving everybody else presents, he's very lonely when he gets back home, and he never gets to experience the magic of Christmas himself. So his elves and friends decide they want to make sure that he experiences the same sort of Christmas cheer. So the other thing I love about this is the production values. I mean, if you take the slip cover off of this, it's got a gorgeous front cover under the slip cover. Christmas Tree Mouse, Joseph Coelho. It's some of these. Do I need to say much else? It's Joseph Coelho. It's beautifully written. It's a lovely rhyming story. And this gorgeous little mouse is on an important mission. And she has, would you believe, a Santa HQ tablet. She has her own tablet. And she helps Santa to organise Christmas and to make sure that everybody is getting their presents. But this Christmas Eve, there is a problem. One of the children, one of the babies, has received the wrong present, which is absolutely lovely. I mean, it's such a nice book. I really did like this one. The Night I Met Father Christmas is the picture book version of what was a very popular middle grade book by Ben Miller. The Night I Met Father Christmas came out last year or the year before, I believe. Gorgeous illustrations, absolutely gorgeous illustrations. And yeah, perfect compliment to the middle grade one, because they'd be able to read this one and then move on to the middle grade one when they get a little bit older. Little Spruce is about a Christmas tree, and it's about a little tree who dreams of being chosen as a Christmas tree. But after Christmas, he has a lovely time being the Christmas tree. After Christmas, Little Spruce is taken away with the rubbish. And that very much upsets the children in the family where he was, and they actually mount a rescue mission with lots of their neighbours, and they do get Little Spruce back again. The other thing that I loved about this one is there's a QR code in the front of the book, and you can have the story read to you by a gentleman who sounds very much like Brian Blessed, and he's very jolly, and I really did like that. Lots and lots of glitter on the front cover too, so if you're going to be reading this one, be prepared to be covered with glitter, which is never a bad thing in my opinion. Oh Yes I Am is about a panto, which you would probably guess from looking at it. It's by Mama G and it's illustrated by Toto. And it is just the most wonderful, inclusive, fun, bright, colourful picture book. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And it is all about poor Bobby, who is quite a colourful character, but feels that he has to be grey because everybody around him dress in grey, and it's a very grey world, until he does go to the pantomime and he sees the pantomime dame, who is completely the opposite to this, and it encourages Bobby to be his own true self and to bring back his colours, which is just wonderful. I really did love this picture book. And Julie's saying her adult book club Christmas book is Who Killed Father Christmas and Other Seasonal Mysteries. That sounds good. That does sound good. A bit more of a lighter read, I'm guessing. Then we have the Happiest Hanukkah, because of course Hanukkah does coincide with Christmas this year. This one is an absolutely lovely picture book. Lots of information in there about the rituals of Hanukkah that I didn't know, and lots of information, lovely bright pictures, and a very warm family orientated story. So moving on to middle grade. Sausage Dog Santa. Look at that gorgeous sausage dog. It's so cute. So cute. It is about a sausage dog puppy who is going to be moving in with a new family, but they already have a grumpy cat called Cleo. But and Cleo, being so grumpy, it's not very nice to him, because she tells him that Santa doesn't bring presents to animals. Which is not true in our house, because the cats do have Christmas stockings. Of course they have Christmas stockings. So Santa, Sausage Dog Santa is about Stanley, who's determined to make sure that his new friends do get presents. So he makes sure that the Rosie the Robin gets a cosy nest and a mud bath for Florence their Dalmatian. And of course, what he really wants himself is to make friends with Grumpy Cleo in time for Christmas. I'm not going to tell you whether that happens, but let's just say it's a very feel-good ending. Great for kids that are just starting to read chapter books as well, because it's quite short chapters and there's lots of illustrations. Oh, is that Deborah? Yeah, Deborah, I agree. Deborah's just saying she's just putting a Hanukkah display together and she wishes there were books for secondary school readers about Hanukkah. And I agree. I do think that there is a bit of a lack there. Snowman Code is about Blessing and who is 10 and a half, and Albert Framlington, who is 600, and he is a snowman. And he has seen many winters in many cities, and he is duty bound by the Snowman Code to help any child in need. And poor Blessing is being bullied, quite nastily bullied. And together with Albert, she's got to find a way to stop this bullying, and also to help poor Albert to find his long lost love, Clementine. It's absolutely lovely. I really did enjoy this one, and I thought Blessing was a wonderful character. Sprouts. Okay, I've only managed to skim this one, but what I have read of it is very, very funny. It is a pure delight. It's funny, it's silly. It's got holographic elves, which yeah, kind of amusing. But there is also a baddie. Gorilla Garland is the witch, and she's been banished to the mince pie aisles, which mince pie aisle sounds pretty good to me, and where Christmas only comes for once a year. And it is really slapstick funny. The bits I've read have been very slapstick funny, and I think it's just a good old-fashioned funny book. Really enjoyed it. Kitty and the Snowball Bandit. The Kitty series just goes from strength to strength. I love these because I think they're beautifully produced. They're only very small books, and they are nice and easy to hold for younger children, but they've got really good stories with lots of good morals in. And Kitty is she's in training to be a superhero, but she still makes a lot of mistakes, I'm afraid. This one is all about a winter fair, and there's a snowball thrower who's ruining all the fun and upsetting lots of people, and it makes it seem as though they have got superpowers. So Kitty has then got to track them down and find out whether they are indeed a supervillain and why they are upsetting everybody else. One Wise Sheep is a quick read, and it's a very funny read. It's a take on the nativity story, and it's kind of from the point of view of the sheep. It had a real Wallace and Gromit type humour feel to me, and I thought it was absolutely hysterical. I really did enjoy it, even down to the fact that oh goodness, I haven't seen that one, Chris. Chris has just put a picture in the chat of a book called Little Santa, and I haven't seen it, so that will go on my wish list. Thanks very much, Chris. One of the sheep that's in this story is known to be a party pooper, and he's known as the sheep with the side part because he's got his hair kind of side parted and swept over on one side. It's just very, very funny, and I really enjoyed this one. This one is a compilation of stories from lots of people that are using the Roald Dahl's beloved characters. Absolutely brilliant authors in here. We've got Pamela Butchart, Hannah Gold, Elle McNichol, lots and lots of others. I've read most of the stories now, I think, and all the ones I've read have really, really got into those well-loved characters. I feel as though they're just a continuation of the adventures that they had in the well-loved Roald Dahl stories. gorgeous one to give as a gift, this one. It's quite a chunky book, and I think that would be much appreciated by any Roald Dahl lover. Fox Goes North. Fox Goes North is the last book by the late Jeremy Strong, and it's an emotive one, this one. It's about a group of friends who are going on a journey, and they've all got different skills. They've got different things that are happening to them, and the end of it, it's a very sad ending, and you will need tissues, definitely, but beautifully written, and the production values on it are just amazing. There's a lovely wraparound illustration that goes from the front all the way around to the back under the actual slipcover. But yeah, as I say, definitely an emotive read, that one. Biggest Christmas Secret Ever, LD Lipinski. I really liked their previous books and did enjoy this in the fact that it's told in 25 chapters. So it's perfect for reading one chapter a day if you're reading aloud to the children. Again, funny, lots of silly things happening, but some really good morals behind it, and some very strong themes in it. Christmas Wish Catastrophe. Now, watch out for a giveaway of a proof of this one at the end, because I've got a proof of this to give away. This is about Lydia Marmalade, which is a wonderful name, isn't it? Absolutely wonderful name. And she goes to Lady Partridge's mansion, and she's got nothing except for her gorgeous, very cute sausage dog, who's called Colin, of course. Lady Partridge, however, does not like Lydia, and she doesn't like children at all. And if Lydia doesn't behave herself, then she's going to get herself cast off. And Lydia is, of course, an orphan, so she's got nowhere else to go. It's there's a wonderful grumpy butler character who is just the most fun, and of course she's got the help of her lovely little dog and also a mischievous winter sprite. It's really a good, fun, heartwarming book. I did enjoy this one. Gnome Alone at Christmas. Silly, fun, for younger children, I'd say. Great for reading aloud, or for those that are just starting to read chapter books, because again, it's quite a short, quick read. Everything goes wrong. Everything goes wrong for this gnome. The tree falls over, there's a gingerbread army, there's all sorts of things going on. And of course, Noah's parents are coming home soon. So you can imagine the panic and the mischief that's going to be going on there. From another light, Murder at Wintertide. Again, not necessarily Christmas, but definitely winter. Great mystery book. Fleur Hitchcock's books, I think, just go from strength to strength. I love her writing, and this one is a really intriguing winter mystery. Very much reminded me very much of the Enid Blyton books that I loved as a child. So and I can't give anything a better recommendation than that. This one is a whole set of 8 books. These are absolutely lovely. There's 8 versions of classic stories, as you can see on there. They're very short. They're written in language that the children will understand. I think this would be an absolutely amazing present for somebody, because they are absolutely lovely. Quick reads, yes, but a great way to introduce children to classic stories that they can then read themselves when they get a bit older. Semble Witches probably takes the takes the prize for one of the nicest covers I've seen. I absolutely loved the cover of this. This is the conclusion of the Month of Magic trilogy. And I hadn't read the first two, which meant I did spend the first couple of chapters catching up a little bit, but it was okay. It didn't prove to be a problem. But I really enjoyed it. I think this would be kids that, I'm thinking when my daughter was younger, kids that like Sabrina, the Teenage Witch on the telly, would love this. It's very much got that sort of teen witch feel. Again, keep an eye out for a giveaway of this one a little bit later on. Pablo and Splash are always really, really silly graphic novels for younger children. Again, yes, okay, I know just because it's penguins doesn't mean it's Christmas, but it's winter. It's winter. Lots of laugh out loud humour, and a good beginner graphic novel. Just see somebody that we've got some messages in the chat, and I'm just trying to keep up with that as well. Yeah, that I agree, Deborah. And Deborah's saying she likes the sound of the trilogy. Yeah, I do as well. And I don't know why I've missed the first two, so I think I'd quite like to go back and read the first two. Unfortunately, when it comes to young adult, I've literally got about 2 books because it's something that doesn't seem to be produced that often. Young adult festive books, which is a great shame, I think. But at the moment, there doesn't seem to be as much YA coming out anyway as MG. This is, however, beautiful. The Wood at Midwinter is by Susanna Clarke, and it's a short story from the author of Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, with her trademark beautiful lyrical language. It's reads as a fairy tale to me. It's not a full-length novel. It's definitely a quick read, but it is a thing of beauty. It's got beautiful foiling on the front cover. So if you've got any teens that are book talkers who like pretty books, I'm not a teen, but I do love pretty books, they will absolutely love this. It's definitely one that's going to look very nice on the bookshelf. And as I say, with the language and beautiful mythical story, I think this would be much appreciated. Okay. Okay, there's another. Chris has recommended another one there from that's one to be translated from Swedish. You know what, Chris? You're going to cost me a lot of money by the end of this. You really are. It's Helmersbrook Manor. Yes, it came out last year, Chris. I've actually got that one. Excellent. I don't need to buy that one. Helmersbrook Manor. Yes, I do have that one. Some Like It Cold by Elle McNichol, and Deborah saying she's got two copies and they've flown off. I'm not surprised. It's lovely. Absolutely lovely. I really enjoyed this from the start to the finish. It's fun. It's got wonderful main character. It's very Bridget Jones at Christmas to me. That's how I thought of it. Yeah, I think any teen that you buy that for is going to absolutely love it. So that's one that I think is just a no-brainer. Absolutely wonderful. So, I'm keeping an eye on my time. On to the gift books. Boy, have I got some gorgeous gift books to tell you about. This first one, for younger children, this is a pop-up book of dinosaurs, and it is just the best fun. Every spread features flaps. It's got lots of fun facts in it, and they're very short facts, and there's an exciting large pop-up at the end, and I think any lover of dinosaurs would absolutely go mad for this book. It's in my house. It's gone away for a certain young lady's Christmas present, because I think she's going to absolutely love it. Pick a Mix Poetry. Now, When I first saw this, because it says Julia Donaldson up at the top, I thought it was poetry written by Julia Donaldson. It's not actually. It's been chosen by Julia Donaldson. And there are an awful lot of poets that you will recognise in there, as well as new poets that I'd not heard of before. It's beautifully produced. It's a very big book, and it's got over 300 poems on just about every occasion you can think of. It's all sorts of different characters and different scenarios that we meet in these poems, and I absolutely loved it. I think it's beautiful. Letters from the North Pole. Now this one I have got sat next to me here because it is stunning. This is probably my favourite one that I've had this year. There we go. We've got letters in it. You've got various different bits of ephemera you can pull out of it. Here we go. If I pull one out, there we go. We've got a nice letter from Father Christmas. And there are various other bits and pieces. Reminded me very much of the Jolly Postman. But it's such a beautiful, beautiful book. It's what I refer to as a huggable book, because if you buy that one for somebody for Christmas, I can assure you you'll end up buying another copy because you won't want to let it go. As you won't with A Symphony of Stories. James Mayhew is probably one of my favourite illustrators. And this one takes 6 famous orchestral pieces and it tells you the stories of them. It's sumptuously illustrated. It's a big picture book. It's more for, although it's a picture book, I'd say it's more for middle grade. It's more for older children. It is just stunning. Absolutely stunning. The colours just fly off the page at you. Michael Rosen's Totally True and Totally Silly Bedtime Stories. Do you know what? This had me giggling each time I picked it up to read. The things that you learn in this book that happen in the world, well, I don't know. I wouldn't have believed it if I hadn't seen it myself. It's a lovely one for a cheerful nighttime read to send children off to sleep with a smile. And it's great for lovers of non-fiction books. They probably won't believe that half of them are non-fiction and did actually happen, because they are such silly stories. But it's just wonderful. Really enjoyed that one. Kieran Millward Hargrave. Well, you know, when I got this one through the post, I've got to say my heart did skip a little bit of a beat. This hardback is absolutely lovely. When you take the slip cover off, it's a navy blue hardback with gorgeous silver patterns all over it. And this is Kieran Millward Hargreaves' latest book, and all of her books, I've loved all of them, and they just go from strength to strength. I absolutely love them. Isolde is a wonderful character, and it's, you know, the world building that Millward Hargrave does is just second to none. I think she's absolutely amazing at creating these magical worlds. Enchanted Tales is very much a fairy tale book, and it's got fairy tales from all around the world. It's beautifully produced. It's got lovely gold foiling on the front. Lots and lots of stories that I'd never heard. I'd never heard of them before, from all over the world. And it will be a treasured gift, I think, for any lover of good stories. More for our non-fiction lovers now. Bedtime book of even more impossible questions. Do I know the answers to the questions at the top? Yes, I do, but I'm not going to tell you them. So, has a slug ever been to space? Well, there you go. It's got lots and lots and lots of factual questions, silly factual questions, as well as more serious factual questions. And it's great to dip in and out of. It's very Guinness World of Records like. So you could dip in, read a little bit, come back to it a few days later, that sort of thing. This one is more for older kids. And it's, as you can see, it's about space. It's a big glossy book with lots and lots and lots of information about space. Probably I'd go for I'd probably go for secondary age with this one, because it is very much geared towards, I'd say, that sort of age group, into year seven and above. And it's an absolutely fascinating book. Absolutely fascinating book. So much to learn in there. This is just cute. It is so sweet. So sweet. This is a story about a little girl and another little sausage dog. There's been lots of sausage dogs this year, but there you go. Sonny is the sausage dog, and he is the one who has lots of big questions, and he's a very calming little sausage dog, and he looks after his mistress, and he reminds her that, you know, if she's in need, if she's feeling sad, if she's feeling upset, then she can ask other people for help. What I found interesting about it was this is the first of four, first in a series of four, and they were inspired, the author were inspired to write them because of a wish to help his children navigate the world post-pandemic. So there are another three to come, and I think it's going to be a really lovely set. This, well, you know, who doesn't love a unicorn? This is about the fifth one, I think. Yeah, it is the fifth one in this series, about the Magical Unicorn Society. And they are all beautiful, glossy books. This one, absolutely amazing artwork. The artwork in it is just to die for. And this one is all about the history of these mythical creatures, and what could be the future for unicorns. So anyone that's keen on unicorns with a bit of a dark edge, they will certainly love this one. Muddles with Wood. This gave me very much Winnie the Pooh feel. It's very gentle. There are 5 interlinked bedtime stories, and it's got fairies and it's got kelpies, but just the whole feel of it felt very Winnie the Pooh gentle to me, and I thought it was really lovely, really nice one. Oh, Julie, you like sausage dogs? Well, there you go. Perhaps you're not the only one, because I have been reading a lot of sausage dog books recently. It's a gorgeously bound book, Tales from Mugswick Wood, and would make an absolutely amazing present for anyone. This is amazing. If I could find it in my very cluttered office, I'd show you it, but unfortunately I can't. The Incredible Pop-Up Bug is about that big. It's huge. It is a huge, large book with incredible pop-outs that come quite far up off the page, and it's all about bugs and the interesting facts about them. It's even got a pop-up of a spider that I coped with okay. I don't like spiders, but I've got to say this book made them beautiful. It is just stunning, absolutely stunning. I really do think this one is one of my favourites this year. This one has got several Christmas stories all together in the same treasury. And this is very good, nice and fun. I love the stories in it. Lovely illustrations, and another great one to be reading on different nights just before you go to bed. And apparently, all of the stories in it have now been put together in a animated Netflix film. So that'll be interesting to see. Anybody that's into mythology, which would have been my own son when he was younger, will just die for this book. It's Myths of China. It is a very large, glossy hardback book. It's got lots of stories as well as historical information. So it's got both. It's got the fiction and non-fiction in it. It's absolutely glorious. Absolutely glorious. You know, I'm running out of superlatives today because I've got so many fantastic books to show you, but I would thoroughly recommend Myths of China. Then we have She Speaks, which again is amazing because this is about the women of Greek myths. Now, my son, when he was younger, was very much into mythology, but he never heard a lot about the women. It was more about the gods. So this was fantastic to see. It's about different goddesses in Greek myths. Again, it's a large book with lots of great illustrations, lots of girl power. Very much enjoyed. Deborah, yeah, the China one, you need it. Believe me, you need it. It's just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Pet Selector. I actually did an author event with Russell Kane this week about this very book. It is very funny. Of course, it's very funny. Russell Kane being a comedian, it is very funny. It's about different pets and what you would choose to have as a pet and the pluses and minuses to different pets. Very funny. It's got lots of facts in as well, but put in an extremely amusing way. And he does tell stories about his own pets in it as well, including his pug, Colin, who I actually met virtually this week. And he's very cute. Very cute. There you go. Adventures with Grandad. I had not seen these before, surprisingly enough. I was quite surprised by this because there are 4 books in this one. And it's about a young boy's adventures with his granddad through the seasons. And it's really lovely. I really enjoyed the relationship between the granddad and the boy. And they're very gentle stories, but I really enjoyed them. Yeah. Kevin Crossley Holland and Chris Riddell. Do I need to say anything, anybody? This is, of course, beautiful. You need it for yourselves. All I'm going to say. You could buy it for somebody else if you like, but you will want to keep it. It's wonderful. As is this, At Home in a Book. This is about, it tells you the stories of various iconic stories from literature. So and it lets you go into their houses and you look at the houses and you find the characters in there. It's just amazing. I just adored this. Absolutely adored it. So you go into Sherlock's house and you have a look at his bag and you get the map of Neverland and there's a Pride and Prejudice bit, I seem to remember. Absolutely gorgeous. For any bookworms of any age, they will love this one. Escape Castle Dracula is a great one because it's all about, it's a mystery picture book, I'd say, because it's a large picture book about the size of a Where's Wally, and you have to go through mazes and solve puzzles, and it's all about classic horror stories. So you've got Frankenstein, you've got Jekyll and Hyde, you've got various other ones in there. Really good book. I really like that one. Nature Tales is about, it's got 18 folk tales and myths and legends from around the world. Again, gorgeously produced, lots of lovely illustrations. I really do like and your Shizani's illustrations. They are just so beautiful. And if you've got a nature lover that you're buying for, I'm sure they would really appreciate this one. There is a Season is a very small book. It's a little book, but it's a very comforting book, I would say. It's a collection of poems that goes through each season of the year. Lovely, absolutely lovely poems that I really enjoyed reading, and lots of encouragement to get outside and to notice things in nature and to see what things mark the changing of the seasons. Snow Girl, now this isn't new, but this is a beautiful illustrated version it's got illustrations from Melissa Castrillion, and it's got gold foiling on the front. Beautiful illustrations all the way through it, and a lovely story. I loved the story when I read it first, and I think this edition is just to die for. And I suppose there's only one thing I can do to finish off, and that's to say Happy Christmas. We do have another Bev's book chat before Christmas in December, but it's going to be very much of a kind of a roundup. So it's going to be more about my favourite books of the year. We've also got some messages from our patrons as well. We've got some videos from the authors that we have as patrons. And I'd love for people to come along and tell me what they think their best reads of the year were. However, I do think now I need to go and take this hat off because I'm a little bit warm. So happy Christmas, everybody. I hope to see some of you in December at the next Bev's book chat. Bye for now.